Hey YouTube, welcome back after a little hiatus. I've been busy. It's Aiden. Reminder, if you want a lesson with me, check the link in the description. Let's talk about the nearly finished state of my Bach 36K, my 4-digit serial, which means it's like a 1967 or something, like pretty early corporation 36 with a 90s K valve grafted onto it. I got this for really cheap. And before I go on, some of you probably like, you've had a 36BO in the past, sold it. I also had recently, in like the last year and a half or something, a Bach 36B. I think it was an 80s instrument. I sold that too. And some of you guys are like, why do you have another one again when you obviously, don't use them enough to keep them? And the answer is, both of those horns I sold for like a little bit more than I got them for. And I got them for like not the best possible price. This I got for really, really cheap. And honestly, just like, it is kind of cool, but nobody's going to pay that much money for it. It's just not that desirable of an instrument. So to me, it's worth more as a trombone than as money. And I'm really excited to use this in real life. Honestly, my last 36B was not nearly as good. So I paid more money for it, and it wasn't as good. And I was just like, why do I have this if my other horns are just kind of better in every way? Whereas this actually might be nearly the best trombone that I have. We'll have to see after I get a good mouthpiece for my 3Bs how it stacks up. So this is nearly done. What do I mean by done? Well, one, the slide is now wide. Instead of being the 36 width, and here's a stock 36 slide to compare. Put them up next to each other all the way over. There we go. And you can see, there we go, the difference on this side. It's really hard to get across on camera. It's about a ½ an inch wider. 36 slide, it just kind of looks a little weird, a little narrow. This looks like 42 width, like a bass. And you can see, I guess that's a better difference right there. And normally, on a 36, it doesn't matter that much. On a straight horn, who cares? Like the slide on my 3B is a lot narrower. Even with a 36B with a rotor valve, no big deal. You can play it comfortably. With this soda can sticking into your neck, it's a bigger difference. I mean, seriously, this is sticking out probably like an inch away from the gooseneck. And when you have a narrower slide, it's just, I could get comfortable after a while, but even then it would still make like a divot in my neck. And this, I can just play. I don't have to worry about it at all. And I get a nice Shire's medium bore crook to round it off. Which plays just a little bit better in kind of all respects than the pretty square Bach stock crook. I'm not saying they all play badly. I think a normal 36 is probably pretty good. But this just does play a little bit better. It makes a little bit larger of a sound. Kind of makes the dynamic spectrum a little bit larger. I can play louder without it getting kind of nasty. And also, I finally got a mouthpiece that, as far as I can tell, like initial impressions, couple weeks in, is the best match for any instrument that I have. Like, this mouthpiece matches this horn 100%. This is a Doug Elliott XT Narrow 104 F plus star. Yeah, it's got even has a star G4 shank. So it's kind of like, if you want to put it in Bach terms, a Bach 3GS with a narrow rim. 3GS with a narrow rim, and it just rules, man. I had the E cup for a little bit, and it played pretty well, but it was pretty bright and kind of only did that. It didn't really do anything else. And I was like, well, the whole point of this is that it kind of does everything. It doesn't do anything like perfectly, but it kind of does everything really well. And the E cup kind of put it in one spot, kind of painted it into a corner, and it was only good at that. And I was like, well, I have King 3Bs for that style, so I want something that kind of rounds it out more. And this, being just a little bit deeper, a little more open, just did it. It is 100% the perfect match for this instrument. And I had Doug send me 3 different rims, the Narrow 102, Narrow 103, Narrow 104, kind of like 5 size, 4 size, 3 size, narrow. And initially I chose the 4-size rim, the 103, and I thought it worked. And then the next day I came back to it and I was like, ooh, no, it's too small. So I changed to this one, and having played it a lot, I'm totally sold. Like, I can play really high, I can play low, I can connect registers, I can kind of just sing through the instrument and not have to worry about the stuff in between, which is kind of a new experience for me, honestly, and so much so that it ruined my King 3Bs. I've been playing the 3Bs with a 6.5 AL now for, I don't know, a year plus, and I even played it before then as well, with some other mouthpieces in between. And I was kind of used to how that worked. And so I played this for a while with this setup, and I was like, wow, this rules. And I went back to the 3Bs with a 6.5, and I was like, I can't do this. I literally want to throw this horn at the wall because the rim is just so constricting, that 6.5 rim compared to this 3-size rim. I couldn't do it. And I tried a couple days in a row. I was like, I'm going to play the 3Bs and really get used to them. And I would go through like half of my fundamentals and just be like, oh, I can't do this. It's so uncomfortable. So this has changed my outlook on mouthpieces so much that it ruined my 3Bs. Thankfully, I have, I think, some Doug Elliott stuff on the way that will rectify that. I'm going to get a setup for the 3Bs. And once I do, I'm just so excited to have like awesome setups for kind of the instruments that are hard to find mouthpieces for in small shank, because that's always the hardest thing to fill in, for me anyway. So what else remains to be done on this? Because I'm saying I'm almost done. Well, the last kind of thing I think I would do for sure is change this over to a large connector. Right now this has the Bach 36 size tenon and receiver. This is the tenon, this is the receiver, and that's cool. That means I can put on Bach small bore slides if I want, or I can put this on a Bach small bore. I'm never going to do that. Who cares? What I want to do is put like a 42 slide on here, or put this on a 42, and the large connectors will let me do that. And I think that's probably the only difference I would change. The only thing I would change here. And it's pretty easy. On Bach slides, the tenon, this piece right here, just slips off. You can actually see the inner slide tube and the tenon are different pieces, and it's all soldered together, of course. But you just heat it up, and this goes swing. And then you put on a large size one, and this is a little more difficult. You have to get a large size one that fits the K-valve port. Also not a huge deal for my tech. I think that's the only thing I'm going to change. I'm also going to have him check out my K-valve because it's not in perfect shape. And also, well, it's not doing it now, of course, but the solder between this brace and the F attachment tubing, there's a little bit of solder right here, and mine's cracked, and sometimes it goes zing if I play certain notes. So I'm probably going to have him reheat that and resolder it. Otherwise, I might be done. He wants to make it so my bells are removable and I can take this off and swap things out. I'm just not sure if I ever really want to do that, because as one piece, as one instrument, this is kind of exactly what I want it to be, and I'm not sure if it can be a whole lot more than that. So really happy to say that this has come a long way. And of course, I'm saying I'm going to keep this, and everyone's just like, yeah, right. Right now, I'm going to keep this, and if I have to like sell a bunch of horns or something, if the world actually ends more than it is already, might keep this over like my 3Bs and my 42, and I'll just have one tenor that'll kind of do everything. And if I wanted to settle, this would be the instrument to do it on. So really happy with this. Finally glad, because I've always wanted to have a 36 that I liked. Guess what? I ended up with one, and so far it's kind of ruined my other instruments for me. So excited to see where they're going to go. That's all I got. See you guys next time.